This is Jasmine. She works for a large service organisation and she's got her sights set high. She's aiming to do a great job on her final project as a management trainee. During this programme, we're going to follow Jasmine's progress as she learns how to use effective targets in order to manage and improve performance.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here today to give my presentation for my final project as a management trainee. On my first day, the situation looked simple. I was to report to Jerry Wiseman in admin.
It's really not good enough, Jerry. I'm not to hear. We're late settling claims, and that's because your central records is a mess.
Don't unload your problems onto me, Barbara.
My problems? You've read the survey. Delay in settling claims, a primary source of customer dissatisfaction. And look where we come. Bottom. That's our problem.
Now, just a moment, Barbara. I've commissioned a project.
I don't need another project from some management trainee. I need changes.
Excuse me, is this administration?
Down the corridor, secretarial.
I've been assigned to Mr. Wiseman for a project.
Oh, that's me.
Good luck.
I'm Jasmine Noah.
Oh, good. Jerry Wiseman. Jerry. First names round here. All on the same team.
That's nice.
Good. Listen, you have this desk here.
Right.
And Samantha, my PA, she'll be in later. Flexi time. Yeah, she'll show you the ropes, and as soon as I got my coat off, we'll sit down and talk about your project. That's great.
Okay.
Miss Crandall, morning. Jerry Wiseman. Can you pop up for a minute? Our project team is here. I think you'll like her.
What now?
Well, later on today, then?
Very unlikely.
Well, I'll get a better idea then. Why don't I bring her down this afternoon, and then she can see what you get up to.
I can't promise anything.
Thanks, Miss Grindle. Now, you'll like this project. I need a much better handle on what central records do and how to make them do it better. Basically, what I want to do is set targets so that I can manage their performance.
What sort of targets?
Well, that's for you to come up with.
Well, we did goals, targets, and objectives on the course. SMART. That's it. Specific, measurable, realistic, and timed. It's how you recognize an effective target. You can apply it to almost anything.
Specific, measurable, realistic, timed. What about the A?
Oh. A is agreed. That's the most important thing, really.
So, what are your targets here, specifically, on this project?
Well, you want a report detailing performance requirements for central records.
Yes, targets for central records.
And I want to do a presentation on the project for my course.
Well, 2 targets, and each one has to be measurable.
Yes, so I know how well I'm doing. It's not so difficult as far as the course presentation goes. There's an assessment by a trainer, things like content and presentation. I'm aiming for excellent, an A.
And what about your report for me?
We've got to work out what's needed and how to measure it.
I'm pretty busy at the moment.
Well, I can do some work on it and see what you think.
Okay, that's great.
When do you want it by?
Oh, as soon as possible.
I'd rather have a deadline. T for timed.
Ah, Samantha. This is Jasmine. Jasmine Noah, our project teamer. Jasmine's going to be working down in Central Records with Miss Grendel.
So I worked out my own targets for the project and agreed them with Jerry. It all looked pretty straightforward. An underperforming department, negative impact on customer service, and a simple tool to tackle the problem. Performance management is based on effective targets. What's an effective target? A SMART target. Hi, Leo.
Hi, what are you up to?
I'm running a project, and it's a great one for my end-of-course presentation.
Congratulations! What is it?
I'm developing performance targets for Central Records.
Great. Did you know there are 59 combinations?
Leo?
How about vegetable soup with lemonade?
Come on, Leo. Out with it.
It's a great project. If you make it work, you'll be a hero.
What's the problem? Have I been dumped on?
The problems, you mean? It's a mess. They've got more work than they can handle. They've got the highest staff turnover in the company. No one wants to spend money on filing systems. The real problem is the manager, Grendel. She has trainees for breakfast. You're the third person they've given this project to.
Who are the others?
They're no longer with us.
I realised I had to keep personalities out of it. Performance management has got to be based on objective targets.
You ready for Miss Grendel? Let's go.
This was it. My first meeting with Miss Grendel. We went down to Central Records.
Good afternoon, Miss Grendel. I'd like you to meet Jasmine Noah, your project teamer.
My project teamer?
Hello, Miss Grendel.
If you can just show Jasmine around, give her a few days to find her feet. I've briefed her on the project. You can go into why we're doing it. I'm sure Jasmine will come up with lots of good ideas.
I know about the complaints. I'll cure those I can, the others people have to put up with.
That's great. I'll leave you two to get along. Let me know if you need anything.
So, what do you want to know?
Well, Jerry thought I should see what you do first, if that's convenient.
Convenient. If Mr. Wiseman says so. Well, come on if you're coming. So, what did they teach you about managing a filing department?
Missed that lesson. How do you manage it?
Up there they manage. Down here, we survive.
But you must be aiming for some sort of end result.
That O comes before P, Wayne. N-O-P-Q.
N-O-P-Q. N-O-P-Q.
Well done. Well, lovely to have an end result. I'd like to see the bottom of the filing bin once by the time I retire. I'd like to have all my vacant positions filled for 1 week in any year. And I'd like to leave the phone on the hook for a whole hour without someone wanting a file yesterday.
But do you have targets?
Targets? Of course we have targets. Put the documents into the file before they get lost. Put the file back on the shelf before it is asked for again. Get the file up to whoever wants it. Put the file back on the shelf. And while we're doing all that, be at everyone's beck and call.
I don't think those are the sort of targets we're looking for. They're just activities. Things you do all day.
What's the difference?
Targets give you something to aim for. Something you can measure the result of. They tell you if you're doing a good job.
Hello.
Honeyweed here, Miss Randall.
Mr. Honeyweed. This is the third time today.
I know, but we've got a
I can't help that.
Miss Randall. We really need those.
All right, what number is it?
9300 766.
9300 766 D.
That's right.
I'll have it sent up as soon as...
This afternoon?
I can't promise anything. Honeyweed. Your kind of target is fine for salesmen or production departments, but not for this kind of work.
Don't you have departmental goals? I thought all the sections in a department had to have them. They're supposed to spell out what everyone's supposed to do and how
Oh, that. The thing on the front of the annual budget. It's in here somewhere. It wastes a week of my year filling out the darn forms. Oh, here it is. One, optimise customer service by streamlining customer record service to the frontline departments. 2, improve profitability by reducing customer records operating costs by 10%. 3, maximise staff satisfaction and morale. Amen. God didn't save the Queen. Here, you can take it with you. I've got work to do. Leave the door.
Miss Grendel's departmental goals were generalisations, which could have applied to anyone. They didn't help her to pin down what was needed to do a good job. In other words, they weren't smart. Oh, hi.
How's the battle with Grendel?
Just a few scratches.
Come on. I'll treat you to a cherryade.
Thanks. Trouble is, I know where I'm trying to go, I just don't know how to get there.
Hasn't Jerry given you any signposts?
The departmental goals, I suppose. Optimise customer service by streamlining customer record service to the frontline departments. I mean, what good is that? It's fine as far as it goes, but it's not a target. Not a smart one, anyway. Seeing what she has to work with, it's not a realistic one either. As far as she's concerned, it's all waffle.
Well, everyone has to have something to aim for.
She has, I suppose, but it's only about getting through the day. The trouble is, I'm beginning to think she's right. I mean, all she can do is react to everyone else. It's not like sales or production. There's nothing at the end of the day to show she's doing a good job. Come on, make your mind up.
Hot chocolate with orange or vegetable soup with creamer?
I suppose you can keep track of the complaints. But that's pretty negative.
What are you having?
Coffee, black, extra strong. I mean, what sort of incentive is it, just staying out of trouble?
Coming up.
Thanks. Hey, why does this machine give me what I want? Why doesn't it just give me cold herbal tea with a dash of hot lemon?
Okay.
No, what I mean is, it gives me exactly what I want because I tell it exactly what I want. But the fact is, I have to be perfectly clear what it is I want it to deliver. See? Come on, Leo. We've got work to do.
I think we can improve on this.
You said you'd give me 10 minutes at 10 o'clock.
That's right. 10 minutes. You can stay, Leo.
I need to know exactly what it is you want Central Records to deliver.
What has this got to do with anything?
I'm trying to develop performance targets for Central Records. I can only do that if I know specifically what the other departments want from them.
I've told them often enough what we want. Complete files on the desks of my claims processors as soon as the customer makes a claim.
There's a breakdown of the different sorts of claim and how your department deals with them.
Where did you get this?
Leo helped me. The PF69s account for about 40% of your work, but you don't actually need the customer file to make the claim. They work straight off the computer screens.
And what about the confirmations?
They get printed overnight. They could be filed later. It's not urgent.
And what about the customers on special handling?
You do need the customer file for those. I've broken them out there.
I hear you've been seeing other departments.
Yes.
I don't have proper channels, you know. Could you go through me in future?
All right. I'll want to sit down with you too.
With me?
You're Miss Grendel's manager. What are your specific and measurable expectations? I mean, one of the goals you've set is to maximize job satisfaction and morale.
All the departments have that.
I know, but targets have to be specific to the individuals carrying them out.
All right. Fix up a time with Samantha. That's great.
Specific means coming up with a detailed action plan for the job and the individual doing it. It tells that person precisely what he or she has to do in order to succeed. And they have to express some measurable result that means something to the person doing them. Not necessarily in numbers, but in some way that makes it easy to recognise if the target's being met or not. I've got a list of what the other departments need. Claims don't actually need the PF69s.
Let me see that list. Mr. Bhagwani's talking through his hat. Claims are filed numerically by claim number, not by customer name. You've worked hard.
Yeah, but
But
what are you going to do with it?
what do you want me to do with it? Half those demands are totally unrealistic.
Do you mean the PF69s?
Changing the system will mean a complete reorganisation of Central Records. When am I supposed to do that? Over the weekend?
Can't you just go through them and see what's realistic?
Leave it with me. I can't promise anything.
By the end of the week?
Honeyweed here.
Mr. Honeyweed, 1 second. Very unlikely. Are you there?
I really need those files.
What, now?
Well, I need them urgently.
Hold on.
But I've got a deadline to meet. Jerry wants the project finished by the next heads of department meeting.
That's not very realistic of him either. There's no point in setting time limits till you know how much you have to do. Oh, now, where's that Wayne got to?
I'll tell you what. I'll do it.
What?
I'll go through them and sort them into what's doable.
She gets ratty if the pending baskets aren't empty by lunchtime on Friday. There's just too much.
Elaine says I have to do at least 40 an hour.
You can never tell when there's going to be a panic. It all depends on the claims coming in. Nobody stays long down here. Either they leave, or if you make an effort, Grendel gets you promoted.
Targets have to be realistic. It's no good aiming for the moon. But at the same time, they have to represent an improvement. And they have to be timed. Not only the date when they'll be achieved, but the milestones along the way to check progress.
You finished getting under our feet then?
I think you do a tremendous job with what you have to put up with. Your people work really hard.
For a monster like me, I know what they say.
They all know what they have to do and when they have to do it by.
In that case, you don't have a project, do you?
I did another list.
At least it's shorter than the last one.
I cut out everything I thought wasn't absolutely realistic. There are some things you could do very soon with a bit of reorganisation. Like getting all the files for special handling customers sent up straight away. The rest will take a bit more time.
What are all these dates?
Review dates. That's when you and Jerry sit down and look at the progress you've made. They're all different because some targets will take longer to implement than others.
What's this? Deliver special handling files within half an hour, implementation immediate.
The timings are only my suggestions. You'll have to decide if they're reasonable. Well,
if that's what management wants me to do.
It's up to you to OK them first.
Me? When do they ever worry about what I think?
But these are supposed to help you do your job.
Targets, measurements, deadlines. They're just another stick to beat us with. Targets aren't the be-all and end-all.
So you're happy for me to put those in my report to Jerry?
If that's what management wants. Hello. I can't promise anything. Mr. Honeyweed, what act of God is making your day today?
How's it going?
We should have a meeting.
What sort of meeting?
Miss Grendel doesn't know what's expected of her, other than just keeping things going. I can't do any more. I think the two of you should get together so that you can sort out what has to be done.
I'm not sure what good that'll do. The Grendels of this world need clear guidance.
But targets have to be agreed.
She'll agree to what she's asked.
That's not enough. It's not a question of doing what she's told. It's a question of taking part in setting them.
Well, I'll tell you what. You put your recommendations in your report, and then we'll sit down and discuss it. OK? That's great.
OK. That's great. A is for agreed. All that work on defining targets was useless because I didn't get Miss Grendel's commitment. And if the person carrying out the targets doesn't own them, it doesn't matter how much they're in the company's interest, they just won't work.
Early night too.
Yep.
How's it going?
Jerry thinks I'm making trouble for him with the department heads. Grendel doesn't want to cooperate. Neither of them want to talk to each other. I've got a report to write and a presentation to give. Everything's just great. I did everything according to the book. I came up with specific, measurable, realistic and timed targets. It's the agreed that's the problem. I mean, she says she'll agree, but I know she'll ignore them.
Well, then, there's no point.
Exactly. So what do I do now?
Write up your report and give it to Jerry.
It'll just get filed.
What he does with it's not your problem. You reached your target.
So we're just part of the bureaucracy.
Welcome to the real world. Come on. Come on. I've got a train to catch.
You go on. I'll see you tomorrow. But I couldn't give up yet. I had to try one more time.
So no, the first bit's all right. But you see, if it had been a duh, it would have looked like that one, only little, you know.
A little D.
Yeah. So it's more like that, isn't it? So that's a...
This is a P.
Yeah, so
P.
it's P.
P.
So...
P.
Yeah.
Millwall fans poured onto the pitch.
Well done, Wayne. How many new words this week?
10.
Come on. Time to go home.
Does Wayne think your word count's a stick to beat him with?
The Waynes of this world have been walked over all their lives.
You should know.
What do you mean by that?
You get walked on all the time. You don't get help. You don't get investment. You don't even get any thanks. When was the last time you had a constructive meeting with Jerry that wasn't just dealing with complaints? Oh, Barbara.
No,
Or
that
Mr.
is
Hunt-
nonsense.
When was the last time you were in Jerry's office,
I can walk in and see him whenever I choose.
And what would you talk about?
Oh, I get it. Targets, the great cure-all.
At least they help you to get control of your own life. Make things better for yourself.
Better for who? Better for you, you mean?
I don't know why I bothered to come down here, really.
Neither do I.
Honeyweed here, Miss Grendel.
Mr. Honeyweed, you will just have to wait. Good afternoon.
Right. Have you had lunch?
Yes.
Jasmine, have you got a minute? Miss Grendel wanted to go over the targets you came up with.
There are three main departmental goals. Optimise customer service, improve profitability and maximise staff job satisfaction. Let's start with the first. That's what you people seem most obsessed with.
Well, if you put it like that, Elaine.
Right, let's start with operations. First, the PF69s. It seems they're only needed urgently for special handling customers. Right?
Right.
I can only promise immediate delivery if we get hold of the special handling list and put all those files in one place with one person in charge. Can't do that overnight.
Well, when can you do it by?
Well, I don't know. It means changing things around. If I get the list tomorrow and you're willing to pay for some overtime, in about 2 weeks?
That's great.
I can't promise anything.
Oh, when can you promise then?
I'll have to work it out.
Okay. Well, you let me know by tomorrow, a firm date when you'll have everything in place, but I'd like that as near the department heads meeting as possible. And then we'll review how it's all working 1 month later. Is that okay?
I don't see why not.
That's great. Well, what are the...
It's essential to get the commitment of the individual. Get them to own the targets. In Miss Grendel's case, Targets enabled her to get control of the demands made on her. But whatever the motivation, targets have to be seen as being in the interests of the individual as well as the company. The SMART target helps everyone. So there we are. SMART. Specific, measurable, realistic, timed. And right in the middle, agreed. It's how you recognize a good target. And good targets will help you manage and improve performance. Get control of your life. Get better at what you do. Get smart.
Come in. How are things down in the bowels of the building?
Could be worse. They could be better.
Good, good.
On with the Inquisition.
Oh, it's hardly that. No, really, Elaine, this is a joint review of how far we've got. Something we have to do together, okay?
Right.
Now, I've allowed an hour and a quarter, and if we need more time, we can meet again. We won't be interrupted. Samantha's taking all my calls. Now, I've had a talk with Barbara.
Oh?
About how things have been going.
Oh.
Is that a problem?
Well,
Well, if it is, you must tell me.
well, it's just... Well, you're going behind my back, aren't you?
Not at all. Well, no, Barbara's your main customer. Meeting her expectations defines your most important targets. Of course I got to talk to her, and you have too. I hope you've been reviewing progress with her.
I meet all the heads of departments regularly.
That's great. Anyway, she was very pleased.
That's not what she told me.
Oh? Well, let's be quite sure what we're talking about. The target was immediate delivery of PF69s for special handling customers. And she told me she was completely satisfied on that.
Oh, yes, we cracked that ages ago.
Well, that's excellent. So, what's her problem?
Well, now she says we're not getting the amendments into the special handling files quickly enough because of the way we've reorganised getting the files up to her faster.
So, what can we do about it?
Some people are never satisfied. You solve one problem, they invent another.
Well, that's always how it is. The target's always changing.
But if you're doing something right, why can't it stay that way?
Because people always expect more. Not because of competition, because of things outside our control.
Since we started this business, I've had to review all my operational targets. Wayne, moving up into claims, has meant putting back the date for file maintenance. It's also meant looking at the procedures for most of the file handling. It's ridiculous.
Yes, I know what you mean, but it's also meant that you're bang on target for staff development.
What about the European directive? That's put the automation project back, at least 3 months. It's not just me. Systems and legal are going mad.
I know, but that was outside our control.
Well, it doesn't make it any better.
No. Well, the thing is, you can't stand still. Laws change, situations change, customer expectations change. We have to review our targets accordingly. So, what are we going to do about Barbara's amendments?
I'll have to change the procedures again.
Well, surely not that much. How long will it take?
About a week. All right. First day of next month.
That's great. And you'll write it up in the usual format.
A SMART target. Right?
Right now.
To summarize then, performance management is based on effective targets. What's an effective target? A smart target. Elaine's departmental goals were generalizations, which could have applied to anyone. They didn't help her to pin down what was needed to do a good job. In other words, they weren't smart. Specific means coming up with a detailed action plan for the individual and the job they're carrying out. It tells that person precisely what he or she needs to do in order to succeed. And they have to express some measurable result that means something to the person doing it. Not necessarily in numbers, but in some way that makes it easy to recognize if the target's being met or not. How do you know what's important to work on and what isn't? The best way is to gather the expectations of those who depend on you. In Elaine's case, it was the department she served. For the frontline departments, it's the customer. Whoever it is, one person's expectation is another person's target. Targets have to be realistic. It's no good aiming for the moon, but at the same time, they have to represent an improvement, and they have to be timed. Not just with the date when they'll be achieved, but with milestones along the way to check the progress. A is for agreed. All that work on defining targets was useless because I didn't get Miss Grendel's commitment. And if the person carrying out the target doesn't own them, it doesn't matter how much they're in the company's interest, they just won't work. In Miss Grendel's case, targets enabled her to get control of the demands made on her. But whatever the motivation, targets have to be seen as being in the interest of the individual. The smart target helps everybody. So there you are. Smart. Specific, measurable, realistic, timed. And right in the middle, agreed. It's how you recognize a good target. And good targets will help you manage and improve performance. Get control of your life. Get better at what you do. Get smart.
The aim of this course is to help managers and team leaders improve performance by the effective use of targets, specifically SMART targets. The course covers two key objectives: how to set an effective target and how to apply an effective target in order to manage and improve performance. Let's start with the first objective. How to set an effective target. We're going to review the essential characteristics of an effective target. First of all, effective targets must be specific. They will nail down specific action plans and recognizable results. They are tailored to the job and to the person doing them. A specific target defines precisely what has to be achieved. Then, measurable. Effective targets embody the results they are designed to achieve. They are not necessarily quantifiable in numbers, but incorporate recognizable standards of performance which are objectively clear to everyone involved. A measurable target, quite simply, tells you how to measure the result. Targets will not be effective unless they are agreed. An agreed target will have the commitment of the target holder and all the other people it affects. The best way to ensure this is through the full participation of all concerned, so that those responsible for implementing a target participate fully in the setting of that target. Effective targets must be realistic. They must acknowledge opportunities and constraints and changing circumstances, without admitting them as excuses. They must examine what is realistically within the scope of the individual or team concerned. But because they aim for continuous improvement, they should also challenge and stretch people. A realistic target, in short, must be challenging but achievable. And finally, timed. A target must be timed in two ways. It must have a schedule and a time frame. It must also be reviewed regularly to monitor progress and make sure there are no unpleasant surprises. So, a timed target tells you when you have to do it by and when it will be reviewed. Now we've summarised the characteristics of effective targets, let's turn to the second objective. There are 5 essential steps to applying effective targets in order to manage and improve performance. The first is to identify key result areas. In the video, Jerry seems to have a lot of problems to deal with, but the main reason he's under pressure is that the poor performance of central records is working through to the customer. They have come bottom in a customer survey. This unhappy situation points to a truth known to most organisations. The basic criterion by which the performance of any person or group is judged should be the ultimate impact on customer service. With this in mind, key results fall into 3 main areas. Service, that is, quality, delivery, communication and so on. Productivity, such as costs, investment, downtime, wastage. And people, absenteeism, appraisal, development. The second step is to gather expectations. In the video, Jasmine discovered her first task was to establish what specific and measurable results were required by the people whom Miss Grendel's department served. The fact is that no one works in a vacuum, and every job is a response to someone else's needs. In other words, an expectation is someone else's target. Then, gain commitment. As Jasmine found out, the most important element in a smart target is getting agreement. Otherwise, the target is worthless. At best, a bureaucratic chore, and at worst, ignored. The critical step was to secure Miss Grendel's commitment. Next, write key targets. Now you get to the relatively mechanical stage of writing down the targets. It's impossible to say how many targets any one job holder should have. But it is fair to give a rough guide of between 5 and 9, which will be a mix of short, medium and long-term targets, and ideally spread across the 3 key result areas of service, productivity and people. Then, most important, review, review, review. People's expectations change, and organisational priorities shift to respond to changes in the economic and commercial climate. All targets are therefore moving targets. So targeting for performance is not a one-off activity. It's a continuous process, which needs monitoring both formally and informally to ensure everything is on course. So that's it. How to set and apply smart targets. as Jasmine and Miss Grendel found out. It's an effective way to manage and improve performance. In this section, we'll be reinforcing what we have done in the rest of the programme by looking at how to apply targets. We'll do this by looking at a number of specific questions about applying targets which you can relate to the SMART model. These questions can help you to check whether you are using SMART effectively to get the best possible results. The following exercises will put these questions into practice and test your understanding. To begin with, look at these statements and decide which of them suggests a specific target. So, if you want to test whether a target is specific, a SMART question to ask yourself is, what is it meant to achieve? Improving communication may not be a specific target, but it is a typical goal or purpose for many organizations. So, if you want to identify a specific target for improve communication, a good way to start is to ask, what are you trying to achieve by improving communication? Here are several examples of reasons why you might want to improve communication. So that people can understand the work of the department better, or be better informed, or to enable them to contribute ideas. By focusing on what your general goal or purpose is trying to achieve, you can start to identify the steps or specific actions required to meet that goal. These will form the basis of your targets. Try this example. Let's say your organization has the overall goal of improving customer service. Which of these statements do you think comes closest to suggesting a specific target? And since effective targets embody the results they are meant to achieve, that result or benchmark can be measured. To be measurable, targets are often quantified in numbers, i.e. values, costs, percentages. However, not every type of work can be measured in terms of figures. Do you think it's possible to assess a qualitative target? It's not always easy to see how to measure performance, particularly when looking at creative tasks, for example, or staff development. So a good way to begin is to concentrate on what the desired result or effect should be. To test whether a target is measurable, a SMART question to ask yourself is, does it tell me how I measure the result? Returning to the subject of improving customer service, look at the following examples of targets. Select one that you think is measurable. But unless the target holder feels that their targets are in their own interests, as well as the company's, they will only pay lip service to them. People certainly need to be involved in setting targets, to be committed to achieving them. But there are other incentives too. Which of the following personal benefits do you think would help to gain commitment from the target holder? People are likely to ask themselves whether meeting a target will make the job easier or more satisfying, whether it will make them more successful or offer material rewards. If a target provides a positive answer to any of these questions, if people can see a personal benefit, then it will earn the full commitment of the target holder. To check this, the smart question to ask yourself is, am I and all the other people it affects really committed to it? Listen to this target holder and think about which of her statements suggests that she really is committed to the target.
Well, if you think it'll work, that's fine. I'll go along with it. Yes, I suppose that sounds okay. I expect I'll manage. Yes, I think it's a good idea. We can really make it work.
Remember, targets imposed from above are at best bureaucratic chores, and at worst, they are ignored. So it is worth your time to make sure they are fully agreed. Judging whether a target is realistic or not is something which must involve the target holder, but clearly, individuals at any level cannot be left to do this alone. Everyone's targets need to be integrated with those of the rest of the organisation. So this process should involve the manager or team leader. But how do you judge when a target is realistic? On the whole, it's best to err on the side of caution. The probability of success can be motivating, and achievement boosts self-confidence. So when it comes to judging whether a target is realistic, a good question to ask yourself is it challenging, and am I confident I can meet it? The final element in a SMART target is time. Once you've set a deadline for the target to be met, you've developed a timed target. What do you think? Is a deadline enough to make a timed target? So, if you want to be sure a target is timed, you can check by asking, when do I have to do this by, and when do we review it? Keep asking the right questions, and you will reach a SMART answer, a SMART target. And remember, by using targets to clarify tasks and define roles, everyone within an organisation will know what's expected from them, which will lead to improved performance overall and better service to your customers.